Hello dear students, it's so nice to see you back again. I hope you are all safe sitting at home and enjoying your time with your beloved ones. Now, please open your books and please ensure all of you have a pencil or a pen with you. Now, very important topic is that let's do a recap of what we did last class or what did you learn. Now, if you see your mind map, you see that we have completed 4 topics. That is the meaning of principles of management, the features of principles of management, the importance of principles of management, and the 14 principles of management provided by Henry Fayol. Please tick it and say that it's completed. Now moving down to the second half of your chapter. The second half of your chapter consists of these things what I have written here. So the main reason why I have written it down in red is for you to understand that we have completed the first half of the chapter and the second half of the chapter only speaks about one person, that is F.W. Taylor. He is called as Frederick Winslow Taylor. Understood? So if you actually look towards the board, you can probably zoom it and enlarge it and see, or you look into your book itself, you would understand. Now, F.W. Taylor's scientific principles is what we are going to study today. Along with that, he has provided techniques of scientific management. This is a new syllabus again. And then you have this techniques of scientific management is divided into 3. It is divided into functional foremanship. Then it is divided into second one is standardization and simplification of work. And the third one is differential piece wage system. Now if you see the weightage as per the marks, the first one, F.W. Taylor's scientific principles will definitely come for a 4 marker. Then if you see the techniques of scientific management, functional foremanship is an 8 marker. It may come or it may not come. The second one is standardization and simplification of work. Under that, there is a subtopic. They'll ask you, what are the techniques in which the various studies have been done by F.W. Taylor. So there are 4 studies. If you see time study, motion study, method study and fatigue study. This is another 4 marker that separately will come. So if you see standardization and simplification of work, they'll ask you the meaning of it. Differentiate between standardization and simplification of work will come for a 2 marker. But if you see the various study techniques, this will come for a 4 marker. Then the last one, differential piece weight system, may come or may not come, but it's always better that you study the meaning, safer side. Now, moving down to the first topic. So I'll put a tick mark that we are going to complete that now. So the moving on to the first topic, F.W. Taylor's scientific principle. Okay, it's very important 4 marker. Please stay with me so that you'll be able to understand whatever I am teaching you. And any comments you have, any doubts you have, please just ping it to me or send a message to me in the comment section. I'll be able to clear your doubts. Thank you so much. Now, the first topic, that is a scientific principle provided by F.W. Taylor. Please learn the spelling. His name is Frederick Winslow Taylor. He was active during the year 1856 to 1915. Again, I'll repeat, 1856 to 1915. So, he completed his mechanical engineering and he started to work in a steel mill in US. Then, he wrote a book using time and motion study. This is what F.W. Taylor concentrates and speaks on. He says that every work that you do does have the very best way to do any job. Any job can be done with the best way, and all people should find out what is the best and the easiest way to complete that job. So his book, whatever his book is written on time and motion study, and the book name is Shop Floor Work. Okay, which speaks on increasing the output of workers and maximizing the efficiency of the workers. He proposed piece weight system and opposed rule of thumb. So today you're going to learn 3 important terminologies in this particular session. What is the meaning of rule of thumb? Okay. That is what, if you see, I have just put it down here. Meaning of rule of thumb, meaning of scientific management, and meaning of mental revolution. All these will come for a 1 marker and it will help you understand the entire topic. Yes. So now what is the meaning of rule of thumb? F.W. Taylor says that solving any industrial problem using your personal judgment. What is this personal judgment? Let's say in an organization there is a problem. Let's take for same example what I've given previously. An employee is not coming to work just because he is sick. Okay, now first day he is sick, he is not coming to work. What is the personal judgment of the manager? He says, okay, as a human being, any person for that matter, if he is unwell, he needs to take rest. So the first day the manager says, okay fine, take rest. But what if the employee is continuing it for the next 2 weeks? Would the manager stay quiet? He will start thinking whatever he has to do, or what is the reason this employee is doing this, or what may be the reason. Or take for example, let's say the daily target for complete a job is 100, let's say 100 candles you need to manufacture in a day. But this particular employee is only able to manufacture, let's say 80 candles a day. Now, what is the reason this particular worker or employee is not able to manufacture the remaining 20 candles? So, what is he saying? Do not use your personal judgment to solve the problems faced by the employees in an organization. Everything should have a proper analysis or a time study or a motion study which should be conducted to ensure that every employee is achieving their targets. And that can be done even from the most simplest job to the most complicated job. Using time study and motion study, you can find out the best way to do the job. That is what F.W Taylor is teaching us. Now, if you see Henry Fayol speaks about principles in a very strict and stringent manner, saying that discipline means obedience. It is very much important, but he is not really teaching us how we have to achieve it. But if you see the scientific principles, the word scientific refers to the statement of truth, of facts and figures, all these things which you know, which is all based on experiments. So what is F.W Taylor telling us? That any work you take using your time study and analysis and motion study and experiments, you should come down to an analysis telling that to manufacture 100 candles a day, you will take 8 hours or maximum 9 hours, not anything less than that or not anything more than that. Then it is very much easy for you to track the employee's performance and ensure that the employee is doing the job or he is not doing the job. Yes, so what is this rule of thumb? You are solving industrial problems. What problems are you solving? Industrial problems. See, industry mainly refers to, now Henry Fayol's principles, most of the things are referred to an organization. Let's talk about MNC companies. But when we are talking about F.W. Taylor, he mostly speaks about workers, laborers, all these things. So it is very clearly understood. We are not talking about an MNC organization here. We are talking about industrial organization where whatever is manufactured, it goes by piece weight system. Piece, number of pieces. Let's say candles, let's say agrabattis, let's say bottles, or let's say whatever they are manufacturing is in a number of units or number of pieces. Yes. So solving industrial problems using personal judgment. Whose personal judgment is are people using here? The manager is using his own personal judgment of managers instead of scientific methods. So why exactly the employee is not come to work? Because he is not keeping well. But for the next 2 weeks, do you know why exactly the employee is not coming to work? You really don't know. What scientific method are you using to understand that the employee is not coming to work? You don't know. So what if you put a rule telling there that after 3 days, if you're continuously absent just because you're not well, you need to produce a doctor's certificate. So what will the employee do? Directly he'll keep you updated every single day. That is nothing but time study and motion study. Yes. So what is it? Solving industrial problems using personal judgment. Whose personal judgment? Manager's personal judgment instead of scientific methods. Okay. So the next one. So what did F.W. Taylor say? He doesn't really like this rule of thumb. For him, everything that is done in the organization should have time study, motion study, and should be based on facts and figures. It should not go by rule of thumb. So the next one is, what is the meaning of scientific management? Knowing what you want men to do and seeing that they are doing it in the best and in the cheapest way. Okay, again I'll repeat. Knowing what you want people to do. People can refer to employees, workers, laborers, anyone. Knowing what you want laborers to do. So if you want laborers to manufacture 100 candles a day, you know that you want them to manufacture 100 candles a day. So what are you doing? You are seeing. You are seeing. Manager is seeing. Okay? Seeing that they are doing it in the best and in the cheapest way, and using, let's say, scientific tools or machineries. So whatever machines you're using to make a candle, whatever machine you're using to make any vessel or any tool or any equipment, whatever hardware material you want to make all that, you have to ensure all that is used to see that the job is completed in the best and in the cheapest way. Yes? So coming down to the next important terminology. Mental revolution. What is the word mental? Mental is not really a psychiatric person. Mental refers to your mind, your state of mind. Okay. So mental revolution refers to both managers and workers transferring their thoughts. Okay. You are the manager and the worker. You are telling me, manager, or let's say I am coming and telling you, you know what, this is a problem. I'm not able to do this. I don't know how to do the job. So what are you doing me? You're helping me, telling me that you're still new in the organization. You need to undergo training. If you undergo training, you have just completed 1 month of training. There is still 5 months of training yet to go on. Once you complete the entire 5 months of training, you will be able to do the job successfully. So what are you doing? You are transferring your thought process to me, and I am able to transfer my thought process to you. So there is good relationship happening between the manager and the employee or the workers. So it refers to both managers and workers transferring their thoughts to achieve harmony. Harmony refers to good relationship among each other. Among each other refers to the managers and the workers. Yes, so 3 important meanings you learned now. That is, first one is rule of thumb, which he opposes. Who opposes? F.W. Taylor opposes. He feels that every job has a best way to do it, and you have to do time analysis and motion study to ensure that every job is done in the best and in the cheapest way. And what is the meaning of scientific management? Same meaning, I again paraphrase now. Then mental revolution means what? Both of them should have harmonious relationship. Who is that? The manager and the workers, to ensure that their thoughts are also shared among each other, so that they will all be able to harmonize. They'll be having a harmony relationship among each other. Harmony is nothing but good relationship among each other. Next. Now, what are the principles provided by F.W. Taylor? I told you it's a 4-marker, very important answer. So, the first one is science, not rule of thumb. Now, what is the main importance? I wrote down the meanings here. Based on the meanings only, these principles are there. So, if you look properly, harmony is mentioned here in the explanation. Harmony word is coming in your second point. You see, science is mentioned here. Scientific management, science is coming here. Rule of thumb is mentioned in the first point. Rule of thumb is coming here. So what am I trying to tell you? If you know the meanings of these, that is rule of thumb, scientific management, mental revolution, it's very much easy for you to understand the explanation and the points of F.W. Taylor's scientific management. Yes? So the first one, science, not rule of thumb. What is science? Science is supported by a lot of facts and figures and experiment and realistic ideas. Okay? But what is rule of thumb? Rule of thumb, again go back to the meaning. Solving industrial problems by your own personal judgment. So you really very well know F.W. Taylor opposed rule of thumb. So what is it? Explanation is very crystal clear. So what is it? Taylor believed the best way to increase efficiency and production in an organization is to oppose rule of thumb and to imply scientific management. That is how. How are you implying it? By ensuring employees are selected properly in the first case. So what am I doing? When I'm going to select an employee is coming, giving me when I'm taking the employee's interview, I will ensure that I'm asking the employee, okay fine, how will you, please write an aptitude test. This is your paper. This is based on maths. And this is based on analytical skills. So what is the employee doing? There itself I'll know whether the employee is really good in mathematics or accountancy. Why? Because the process for which I'm going to hire him is all related to a lot of numbers. So what will happen? I want someone. So initially itself, based on scientific principles itself, I'm hiring an employee. And his training also will be based on a lot of numbers and calculations and derivatives and formulas. So what happens? The person's mind is all tamed that way. So it's very much easy for him to achieve his targets. So scientific management includes carefully selecting employees, training them and placing them. Okay, let it be you're training them on any tools or equipments or any machinery that he's supposed to work on. This helps to increase the production and reduces the efforts of the employees. Yes, did you all understand? So the second one, harmony. Harmony refers to good relationship. Good relationship, not discord. Discord means fights. So what is F.W. Taylor telling? All the time, the relationship between the workers and the owners and the managers should be really good. There should not be any fights between the managers and the workers. If the worker wants to communicate anything to the manager, what is he supposed to do? He has to be given an opportunity to speak and convey his problems. It cannot be that the workers go on strike. If the workers go on strike, one day, entire day or an entire month gets wasted without any production. So what is F.W. Taylor trying to tell us? Harmony is very, very important in an organization. Anytime if the employee is facing any difficulty in the organization, the employee has to go ahead and speak. And the management has to listen to whatever the employee is trying to say. So, what is it? Good relationship between employees and the managers. Workers and management are both important. So, who is important here? Workers and management are both important so that their targets can be achieved. And this can be done through mental revolution. You already know the meaning of mental revolution. What's the meaning of mental revolution? Transferring of thoughts between the managers and management and the workers to ensure that there is harmony in the entire organization. So the third point, cooperation, not individualism. Cooperation refers to the word called unity. Who should cooperate in an organization? Now there is an act. The third point is related or correlated to the second point. It's an extension of the second point. Now I'll give you an example. Cooperation, not individualism. Now there is this Japanese work culture. Now what happens in this Japanese work culture is that if the employees are not really willing to work and they do not like any decision which is being taken by the management, what they do is they don't go on any strikes or lockouts and they don't stop working. They just wear a black badge. Okay, they all just wear a black badge. And what they do is they start doing their normal work. Instead of doing a 10-hour job, they do extra 2 hours or 3 hours job just so that it would create empathy within the management. So that the management will see that, oh my God, see our employees, they are so humble and they are so kind. Even when we are not seeing things in favor for the employees, they are seeing things in favor for us. What is it? They want to empathize with the management. So what is it? Cooperation. The employees or the workers want to show that at any instant we will all stand united for the organization. Okay. So cooperation, not individualism. if you actually see all the olden days movie, you can actually see many ways where all these workers would go on a very big strike, and the gang person will say, okay, today we will sit on a strike, we will not go to work. So one day entire day will actually go without production. But what is it? Here they are saying that employees should always cooperate, they should be united, they should feel that they are one family, they should not think as individual employees themselves, they should not feel segregated, they should feel that they are united. So there should be complete cooperation between the workers and the management instead of individualism. Competition should be replaced by cooperation, and it should be a two-way communication between the management and the workers. So please remember, it's an extension from the second point. Now, the fourth point speaks about development of each and every personnel to his greatest efficiency. Again, I'll repeat, development of each and every person. Each and every person speaks about workers, employees, managers, management, everybody. Okay, so to his greatest efficiency. So what are they saying? From the time you select an employee itself, you have to ensure that you select the employee in a very authentic and good manner, ensuring that he is fit for the job. That is what F.W. Taylor is trying to tell us. Later, after selecting the employee, you cannot say that the employee is not fit to do the job. You have to train the employee and mold the employee and place him in a particular job where he is equipped enough to do the job. Like example, let's say one employee who you select, let's say you feel that his analytical skills are very strong. But as you put him into training, you feel that his analytic skills are not very strong. So you made a mistake in selecting the employee. Can you throw away the employee? No. You have to see as an employer what is he strong in. So let's say his communication is very good. So probably you can put him into a training and developmental team where he would be, it would be easy for him to train and develop other employees, and you would give him proper training into it. So what are they saying? You have to, when you're selecting employees, you have to ensure that you're giving them proper training and you are placing them in the right kind of job. So what happened? This increases the efficiency of the workers. See here, this increases efficiency of the workers, and you have to ensure that you're training the employees really well. You cannot give half and half training and then throw the employees into production. That will only lead to low level of efficiency of the workers. Then the workers will start complaining that we have not received proper training. So you have to ensure that when you are selecting the employees, you are giving proper training to the employees as well. And every individual is very, very important, as what is F.W. Taylor said. So coming back to the point here, development of each and every person to his greatest efficiency means every single person has a level or has a caliber within themselves. You need to figure it out, what is he good at, and you need to place him there so that he is able, so that you can get maximum efficiency from that particular person. Now going back to the fifth point, optimum production. Optimum word you have already learned means maximum production. And this can only happen with connection to the fourth point. Only if you provide proper training and proper developmental procedure, you will be able to get maximum production out of the employee. Otherwise, it is not really possible. So, this refers to continuous and increase in production. Taylor favors large-scale production. He says, production and productivity should not be constrained by workers or the management. So what is he really trying to say? If an employee, if the target set by the organization is 100 emails, but the caliber of the employee is to do 120 emails, what are you supposed to do? Will you allow the employee to do? Yes? No? Yes, you have to allow the employee to do more than 100 emails if his caliber is to do more than 100. So what is he telling? For those 100 emails that he is doing, let's say every day you're paying him 500 rupees. But today he has done 150 emails. So what will you do? You'll pay him extra 250. Why? Because he has done extra emails. So what is he trying to do? You cannot stop the production and the productivity of any employee. You have to ensure that he is using his maximum effort to do his job, and you will ensure that you pay for his job. So that is what F.W. Taylor is trying to tell us. Now again a recap of these 5 principles. Again we'll do a recap. So the first one is, we'll study the introduction of Frederick Winslow Taylor. Frederick Winslow Taylor, he was active from the year 1856 to 1915. Then he did his mechanical engineering and he joined an engineering company. He joined as an engineer in a steel mill. Then he wrote a book using time and motion study, and the name of the book is called as Shop Floor Work. This book speaks about increasing the output of workers. Then he proposed piece weight system. Piece weight system is what I was telling you. If you are manufacturing one candle is priced at 20 rupees. So if you are manufacturing, let's say 10 candles, then 10 into 20 rupees. That is called as piece weight system. So, and he opposed rule of thumb. So he did not really like managers using their own personal judgments to solve problems. He felt that everything can be converted into time study and motion study to get the best out of all employees and to solve problems also. Then, rule of thumb, solving industrial problems using personal judgment of managers instead of scientific methods. Then, scientific management, knowing what you want men to do and seeing that they're doing it in the best and in the cheapest way. Mental revolution, it refers to both managers and workers transferring their thoughts to ensure good harmony and good relationship between both of them. Next one, coming down to the principles. If you know the meaning of these terminologies, it's easy for you to explain these. So please go through whatever I have taught you, and we have completed this. So next I would move on to the techniques of scientific management. Okay. Now we will be studying about the techniques of scientific management. Under the techniques of scientific management, we have 3 topics. The first one is functional foremanship. The second topic is standardization and simplification of work. And the third topic is differential piece wage system. Now, functional foremanship is a very important topic for an 8 marker. It consists of a diagram as well as it consists of a very small explanation what you can actually give for an 8 marker. Now, the second topic is standardization and simplification of work. I told you it will be asked for a 2 marker. That is the meaning of standardization and simplification of work. And below that, they'll ask you what are the various techniques of study. So, there is 4 techniques of study. And the third topic is, they'll ask you what is differential piece wage system. Now this will just come as a random meaning for a 2 marker, or it may come or may not come, but it's always better for us to study it. Now coming back to the first topic under techniques of scientific management. First one is functional foremanship. Now you need to understand who is a foreman. Yes, you need to understand who is a foreman. A foreman, now what is F.W. Taylor trying to tell us through all these things? Now, functional foremanship, F.W. Taylor is concentrating on a factory setup. He wanted to implement and improve certain things in a factory setup, the way things are working or the way efficiency and measurement of production, all these things are measured. He wanted to check that, or he wanted to improve that. So what he found out was this particular foreman is the person who every day face to face he has contact with all the lower level workers. Now who is a foreman? You need to understand who is a foreman. A foreman is the lowest ranking manager. Again I'll repeat, a foreman is a lowest ranking manager and the highest ranking worker. So in reality, a foreman is also a worker, but he is the highest ranking worker. Like example, I'll tell you. In all the movies that you have watched, probably all the Tamil cinemas and the Bollywood films that you watched in the 80s and in the 70s, you would actually see that you will have a setup that let's say the laborers are going and they're working in a factory, and then they have a gang boss there, and that gang boss is telling them what to do, and then the gang boss says we'll go on a strike, and all the employees are saying yes, that is correct, whatever he says only we will decide. And then that gang boss will go and will speak to the management, and they will tell yes, we'll increase the salary. All these things you would have seen in any cinemas. So in all cinemas. So what is it? He is a foreman. He is still a worker who is working among all the other workers. But he is the highest ranking worker. That means his experience, his knowledge is high. And he has the guidance to guide everybody else below him. Yes, so who is a foreman? He is the lowest ranking manager. So in the lower level management, you have, that is top level, mid level, lower level, you have, in the lower level, you have foremen, you have workers, you have supervisors. So here the foreman is the lowest ranking manager and he is the highest ranking worker. Did you understand? So coming down, so what is Taylor trying to tell us? Taylor is trying to tell us that this person is in charge of all other workers. He is not a team leader, he is not a manager. He is just a person who is above all the workers based on his experience, knowledge and skill level. So what is he trying to tell? From the platform or starting of planning to controlling, this particular person called foreman is the one who works along with all other workers. So he directly meets the workers day to day, looking at them and telling them what they have to do. So what happened? Taylor wanted to improve and implement a lot of things in a factory setup. We are not talking about an MNC organization. We are talking about a factory. So which works like probably from 9 to 6 in the evening, or let's say 7 to 4, and again another shift they will have somewhere around in the afternoon 2 to 11. So we are talking about a proper factory setup. Let's say HAL, BML, all these particular type of public sector factories, so or organizations. So what are we telling? Taylor wanted to improve and implement a lot of things in these factory setup kind of scenario. So what he wanted to do is he listed out a lot of qualities which are required for a foreman to carry. Now what are the qualities he listed down? Intelligence, grit, education, then judgment, then special knowledge, then energy, then honesty, then good health. All these things are something he wanted a foreman to carry. But he understood that every individual will not have all these qualities with them. Probably one will be intelligent, but they may not be educated. Probably they will have the grit to fight everything, but they will not have the good health. So what he found out was, he came out with a diagram, or he understood that I cannot have a single person having all the qualities. So what he understood, he came out with something like a diagram kind of a thing. So that's the diagram you actually see. A factory manager is divided into two departments or two segregations. The first one is planning in charge. The second one is a production in charge. Okay. So anything that's related to planning, that means you have below them 4 people, and here under production in charge you have 4 people. So each and every person you actually see here have certain qualities which Taylor actually listed out. Probably intelligent, grits, education, judgment, then special knowledge, or good health, all these things. So what he actually found out was, a single person cannot have all the qualities. So he found out 8 people who are very strong enough to have all these qualities and ensure that the factory setup or the lower level management functions very strong. Because in any organization you go, the lower level management is the one who will really do all the job, and they are the one who stands as link. That is, the foreman is the person who stands as a link between the middle level and the top level management. Now coming down to the diagram. Now you have planning in charge here and production in charge. Planning refers to what? It's a future course of action. You're looking into the future course of action. Now we cannot say looking into future means probably 1 year, 2 years down the lane. It can even mean do tomorrow, day after, next week's job, whatever you're going to do for that particular thing. These people should plan what should be done. So what I have actually done is, in your textbook it is not, it's very elaborate, but what I actually thought is one sentence, each sentence I will write across the word. So you have to learn only those things. Now, the first person under planning in charge is instruction card clerk. Now, what is this instruction card clerk doing? He drafts instructions for workers. Example I'll give you. Now, let's say a new employee is joining the organization. Now, he doesn't know what are the rules and regulations of the organization. For that, there is an instruction card clerk who has to tell him, you know what, these are the rules and regulations of the organization. Please go through the rules and regulations of the organization. Now, every person cannot do that job. So, for doing that job, there is a person called as instruction card clerk who tells him, this is where you're not supposed to go. These are the timings you will be functioning. This is what is your job. So, detailedly, someone else will brief you about your detailed job. So, instruction card clerk, what is his job? He drafts instruction for workers. What are the workers supposed to do? What are the rules and regulations of the company? Example. So, the next one is the route clerk. Now, what is a route clerk? The word route itself tells you, he is showing you the direction in which you have to go. Route is nothing but gives you direction. So, routes out instructions for production. So, what is this particular? Now, we are talking, please remember, we are talking about a factory setup. We are not talking about an MNC organization. So, the minute, let's say, for example, you are entering, let's say, BEML or HAL, the person, this route clerk will actually tell you, you know what, this is what your production, you are, let's say, into the watchmaking factory, watchmaking HMT you are in. So, you will be manufacturing this particular part, let's say the wrist, the strap you will be manufacturing. So, this particular strap will again have certain instructions or certain ways that you have to manufacture it. So, those instructions will be given by the particular route clerk. Yes. So, the third one is time and cost clerk. Now, the preparation of time and cost sheet. Now, he will actually find out how many hours does it take to do a particular kind of job. Is it going to take 6 hours? Is it going to take 5 hours? And what is the amount that is going to be invested for the raw materials to be bought? That is where this cost is coming. Now, example again, I will tell you, if I have to manufacture the strap of this particular watch, what is needed for me? The steel, or let's say the leather particle, how much is the cost invested for it? So, like that, this particular person is not only going to talk about the strap, he is also going to talk about the entire unit of the watch. So, he prepares the time and cost sheet, and he checks how much money should be spent for it and how much time the employee will involve in working, in manufacturing that particular part. Next one is disciplinarian. What is his job? He will ensure that there is this entire discipline. That means what? Discipline again refers to Henry Fayol's principle, obedience. That all the employees or all the workers are listening to whatever these people are telling them, or how they are able to function with discipline. There is always good coordination between the management and the workers. There is no confusion. Everybody is not working for individual goals. They are all working for group goals or organizational goals. So, disciplinary, he ensures that there is entire discipline in whatever function or activity they are performing. Yes, understood? So, this thing is only related to planning in charge. There's nothing related. So, whoever the leaders here, or whoever the people instructors here who Fayol is actually divided them into, they're all only into planning and telling them this is what you have to do. Yes. So, the next one is production in charge. Now, under production in charge, you have speed, gang, repair and inspectors. Okay. So, speed boss, gang boss, repair and inspectors. Now, when you speak about speed boss, you have a person. Now, let's come down here. Production in charge. So, I was telling you, this is only related to planning. So, these people, like let's say you example have entered HMT, These people are giving you instructions. This is your job. This is what you have to do. Everything. You know everything in theory. But this becomes into practical. So when you start doing the job, what are the problems you face? Okay, so the speed boss ensures that timely and accurate completion of work. So what is he telling you? Let's say your foreman here is telling you, he is with you and you are in his team. He is telling you, you know what? In 6 hours, you can actually make like 100 candles. So what is he telling you? He is telling you, he is giving you a target. Within 6 hours, you have to make 100 candles. Or you have to produce 100 candles. So what is it? He checks the timely and accurate completion of work, and he will ensure that the work is completed from you. Then the second one is gang boss. What is his job? He keeps machineries and tools ready for work. So even before you are going to be there, he will ensure that the machines and tools are ready for work. There is no problem with them, and he will ensure that even if there is problem, he will direct you to the right team. Okay. So the third one is repair. A repair team or repair boss, what do? They prepare working conditions of machineries and tools. So what happens in case your machines and tools are not working properly? You can go and you can complain there, and these people will come and they will take in charge in ensuring that they are making your tools and machineries on track so that you can start your work. Okay, so the last one is inspectors. What do they check? They check the quality of work. If you talk about an MNC organization, you have a quality analyst team. This team, every email that you send, whatever job you do, randomly they will pick your work, they will check your work, and they will see if the quality is on the top notch. But here, what do? We have inspectors who are continuously checking the quality of your work. So that's the reason whichever watch or whatever make of whatever the company is producing, there is a quality analyst team which checks to ensure that the quality is on the top grade. Yes, so the person in charge for it is the inspectors here. So this diagram will come for a 4 marker plus the explanation. This one liner what I have written across is more than enough for you, along with the meaning of what I told you, the functional foreman being the highest ranking manager and the lowest ranking manager and the highest ranking worker. What is it? Fayol actually found out that the foreman and the workers are the people who look at who meet up every single day, and foreman is a very important person when it comes to a factory setup of environment. So what he found out, he wanted to do some improvement or changes to how a factory setup is. So that is the reason he listed out 8 qualities or 10-15 qualities that should be there in every individual, but he did not find a single person to have these qualities. That is where he came up with these 8 people. So you actually count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people who have all these qualities, and depending on that, the factory setup is actually split. So then you can conclude. Yes, so we have completed the first half. Now moving down to the second half, that is called standardization and simplification of work. Now this you will only learn the meaning, that is how much I've actually written. Now there's a lot of board work that I've written that is very minute and small, but what you can do is my explanation is the board work here. So it's already there in your notes, but if you want to make separate notes also, you can please do it. Okay, so the next topic is under techniques of scientific management is standardization and simplification of work. The word itself tells you standardization means you're setting a standard, okay, for whatever job you are doing. Taylor feels that there should be a standard or a benchmark set across which the work should be measured. So these inspectors and the quality analysts will ensure that whatever standard is set, based on that they will measure whatever performance you are doing. So what is standardization? It's a process of setting standards for every business activity, whatever business activity it may be. Buying raw materials, whether you're buying raw materials that is very good raw materials you're buying, or are you buying the 2nd grade raw material, are you buying the 3rd grade raw material. So let's say you're manufacturing some tools, or let's say you're producing, you're into the production department. What is the standard you're setting? So every department, every section has a standard that should be set. So what is he saying? When you are setting a standard, when you're setting a benchmark for your performance, the employees will ensure that they are trying to achieve the benchmark that you have set. So they will ensure that they want to do their job really well. So what is the meaning of simplification of work? Simplifying work. There is no need for you to have a lot of varieties in your product. If your product is very good and it is sold excellently in the market, there is no need for you to always have variations in your product and confuse customers. So what is simplification of product? It aims at eliminating unnecessary diversity of products. Diversity means what? Having many ranges of products. Like example, I'll say Maggi noodles you have. The original Maggi noodles which we used to eat when we were small, even now we are small, but we really like to eat Maggi noodles. The taste of Maggi noodles is really tasty. But now you have Maggi oats noodles, you have biryani masala, this and that. Do you really like and enjoy eating all that? If you ask some people, they'll actually say, no, I really like the original taste of Maggi. So what is F.W. Taylor trying to say? When you know that your product is top-notch or ranking first in the market, there is no need for you to always have a lot of diversity and variety of the products. You only end up confusing and the customers will not really like it. So it's always better for you to simplify your work. So what happens if you simplify your work? It ensures that you're saving a lot of cost, and labor cost is also reduced because your product is already successful in the market. So there is no need for you to invest in a lot of labor and your cost. So next one. Okay, now below this, below standardization and simplification of work, you have the various study techniques. Now you have 4 important study techniques. This is a 4-marker. Please study it, mark it, very important, as I am teaching, and it is very, very easy also. Now the first one is method study. Now how I have written it is M square T F. Okay, so there is method study, there is motion study, time study, and fatigue study. Now what is this method study? Word itself tells you, you are finding the best method to do a job. That is the meaning of method study. So see here, finding the best way to do the job. There are various methods to do a job, but in that various, let's say I can, if I want to, from let's say from Coxtown, I want to go to Shivajinagar, there are several roads I can take to reach Shivajinagar. But what should I do? I should find out the best and the easiest way to reach Shivajinagar in probably like 10 minutes. So which is the best road? That I should find out. So that's what method study refers to. When you're doing a job, you can do that job in 9 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. But which is the easiest way and the simplest way for the employee to do the job? That is what is called as method study. So from raw materials, that means from buying raw materials, from production, from sales, from advertising, everything, every department, you have to find out the easiest way of doing your job. So what happens? Okay, if proper method study is used, this is increased. What is increased? Production is increased and the customers are also satisfied and your employees or your workers are also very, very satisfied. Okay, why they are satisfied? Because it's an easy way of doing your job. When it's an easy way of doing your job, a 9-hour job, instead of spending 9 hours, you're spending 6 hours. So the remaining 3 hours, 1 hour will go for a break. So the remaining 3 hours, what you will do? You will study a lot of, you will ensure to learn a lot of other things. You will be co-trained or you will be cross-trained in a lot of other things. So you as an employee will also move up the ladder. So next one is motion study. Now let's talk about the second point, motion study. What is motion study? Study of movements like lifting, pulling things, then sitting or changing positions, which F.W. Taylor feels that it is very unnecessary for an employee or a worker to do. What he says is you need to cut down all these unnecessary movements which is going to affect your production. So that is what is called as motion study. Study of movements like lifting, pulling objects, sitting, changing positions, etc. which is undertaken while doing a job. Unnecessary movement should be cut down so that less time is taken for production and your efficiency is maximized. I'll give you an example. Example, let's say your team leader is sitting somewhere else and you are sitting somewhere else. Now, any doubt you have, is it easy for you to contact your team leader? No, it is not. Why? That is why Henry Fayol in his principles says that everything should be in order. People and things should be kept in order. That is the reason all the team members are supposed to sit together. If you sit together, what happens? Any doubts, anything happens, your team leader, your manager is informed. So what is F.W. Taylor telling us? Now the time that is taken for a person to walk and go and meet his team leader and manager and speak to them is wasted. So that time can be utilized for production. So that is the reason this motion study is very important. Eliminating or cutting down unnecessary movements should be cut down so that maximizing your production should be done and efficiency will also improve. Now the third point comes to time study. Now what is time study? You have learned in your first chapter, that is in the topic called as controlling. One of the meaning I have taught you that controlling refers to standard performance which is measured against the actual performance. Yes. Now what is time study? Time study, the organization, that is the top level management, has to calculate what is the standard time taken by an employee or a worker to manufacture, let's say 100 candles or to manufacture 200 candles. Now what is he saying? The standard time taken to perform a job, whether it is 9 hours, whether it is 6 hours, whether it is 5 hours, you have to calculate and you have to know. Then the standard time taken should be fixed for the whole task. So if I'm telling you today you have to do 100 emails, I am fixing 100 emails for the next 8 hours. So in 9 hours of your job, 1 hour goes for your break. So the remaining 8 hours purely you will dedicate it to finishing your 100 emails. So that is what is this, should be fixed for the whole task. The objective of time study should be to determine the number of workers that is required for them to do the job. Then the second one is determine the labor cost, how much salary or how much wages you have to pay to the employee or to the worker. Then how much bonus are you going to pay them? All this is going to be calculated on the time study. Yes. So example I give you. In an organization, let's say in an organization A, every employee has to do 100 emails. Now let's say employee D is doing more than 100 emails. He is doing extra 50 emails. Will he be paid the same amount of salary? No, he will be paid extra for this for the extra 50 emails that he has been doing. So what happens? That is what is time study. Time study helps you to calculate the number of workers to be employed. Now this person is so efficient that he is doing 150 emails in 8 hours. So he is very efficient. He is doing 2 people's job at the same time. So what is happening? You'll cut down on hiring one of the employee. And the second one is he is getting paid the same salary, but what you will add, you will give him extra bonus. Why? Because he is doing extra. Yes. So that is what is called as time study. Then the last one is called as fatigue study. What is the meaning of fatigue? Fatigue refers to the word called tired. Okay. Every employee, every single human being who is doing work is going to get tired physically and mentally. So what is F.W. Taylor telling? You need to find out when is the employee getting tired or during which kind of job, whether it is physical work or a work which requires like software industry, what time, when is it that he is feeling he is tired. You need to give them a break. They are humans. You cannot pressurize them to always do the kind of job. So what is he telling? See, a person is going to feel tired physically and mentally. If he or she does not take a rest while he is working, what is happening? He is affecting himself and he is affecting his health and he cannot give back 100% continuously. So what happens? F.W. Taylor is saying the worker needs to take in short intervals. He needs to take a break. So when he takes a break, he comes back or he bounces back with the same amount of energy when he started his job. So what happens? He is 100% giving his production to his job. So example I'll give you. in any MNC organization you work, or in any factory setup of a setup you work, what happens is that there is 8 hours of work and 1 hour goes for your break. Okay, but the organization is still paying you for that 1 hour what you are taking. Okay, so how can you divide your breaks? You can divide this 1 hour into 45 minutes plus a 15 minute, then a 5 minute. So this 5 minute will be called as a very short break, probably to go to your restroom. Then the 15 minutes would be a short break, probably to grab a tea or coffee. Then the 45 minutes will be called a lunch break or a dinner break or a breakfast, depending on whichever shift you are serving. So what is it? Fatigue study. Every person is going to get tired when they are doing their job. So F.W. Taylor tells that every person physically, mentally should take a break while doing their job, so that after taking the break, the employee will bounce back with double the amount of energy to focus on his work. This will improve his efficiency, and this will ensure that he is doing his work very right. There is no any delays in doing his job. Now, we have completed functional foremanship, standardization and simplification of work. Now, the last topic that we need to cover to end this chapter is differential piece wage system. Yes, now this I told you may come, may not come, but it is a very, very easy meaning and a very easy answer. I will teach you that way. Now, 2 words that you need to remember. It speaks about efficient and it speaks about inefficient workers or employees. Okay, 2 words it speaks about. It speaks about efficient and inefficient workers or employees. Now come back to the question. Differential piece wage system. Okay, piece refers to what? Now I'll give you an example. In a day, Ravi is supposed to manufacture or produce 100 candles. Now every candle that he produces, he is getting paid, let's say 10 rupees. So 10 into 100, you know your maths, it is 1000 rupees. So what is happening? The amount what you are calculating for per unit, okay? So what is called as wage, okay? So daily whatever amount you are getting is what is called as wage. So what is F.W. Taylor telling? This should be different from person to person. Person to person means, I told you to remember 2 words, efficient and inefficient person. So there should be a different rate set for an efficient person. There should be a different rate set for an inefficient person. That is what he is saying. So what will happen? When you are setting a different rate for an efficient person, he will feel more motivated, or he will feel that yes, I should do really well to earn more money. When a person is inefficient, he will not feel demotivated. He will feel that yes, I should achieve more, and he will ensure that his targets are going to get increased. So what is Taylor saying? He strongly supported this piece wage system, telling that efficient people should be paid separately a different rate, inefficient people should be paid separately another rate. So what is it? He wants to differentiate between efficient and inefficient workers. He wanted to reward efficient workers. How did he reward them? By setting a separate rate to pay them. Okay. So inefficient workers on another standard was set. That is what I was telling you. Example, the output per day, the standard output per day is 10 units. That means you need to manufacture 10 units of candles, or you can manufacture more. But the amount that you're going to get paid for 10 units of candles is 50 rupees. So the basic maths for efficient workers is 10 into 50 is 500 rupees. This goes for efficient workers. Okay, this goes for efficient workers. Now let's say Ravi is efficient. He is produced or manufactured 10 candles. So the rate that is set for him is 50. So 10 into 50 is 500. Now let's say another person called Ram. He is an inefficient employee who is manufacturing less than 10. So he is manufacturing 9 candles. So the maths is whoever manufactures less than 10, the rate set for them is 40 rupees. So for efficient, employees or workers, the rate set is 50. For inefficient or whoever is manufacturing less than 10, the rate set is 40 rupees. So now for Ram, he is manufacturing 9 candles. So the rate set for him is 40 rupees. Why? Because he is manufacturing 9 candles. So 9 into 40 is 360 rupees. So what is he saying? In the conclusion, the inefficient employee or the inefficient worker will strive hard enough to ensure that he also wants to achieve, or he also wants to become an efficient worker. This will not demotivate any employee, but the employee will come into self-realization telling that yes, I also want to achieve the best. Yes, by this we complete this chapter, that is the second chapter. Any doubts, any comments, please leave a message to me so that I will be able to understand. Again, we would see all the topics. Under techniques of scientific management, we have functional foremanship. You know who is a foreman. You know the diagram that has to come in. You know the one-liner that I have already given you and taught to you. The second topic is standardization and simplification of work. Under standardization, simplification, you need to learn the meaning for 1 marker and 2 marker. Then you have the different study techniques, the 4 study techniques, which is method study, motion study, time study and fatigue study. And the last third topic is differential piece wage system, which speaks about 2 terminologies called efficient workers, inefficient workers. Efficient workers, the amount paid is 50 rupees. Inefficient workers, the amount paid is 40 rupees. Yes, so thank you so much. Any doubts, type a comment to me and I will resolve your doubts. Thank you.